Good morning. This is Willie Smith. It is right now Monday, April 8th, 2019. It's about 3:11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Once again, with just one man's opinion. I'm here today, unfortunately, under duress circumstances. I would like to speak on the untimely murder of rapper Nipsey Hussle. Of course, there's been a lot of talk about it from various areas. Various people have had different things to say. The vast majority of it is completely positive. I feel that his murder was a great loss to his community, to the black community, to Los Angeles as a whole. It greatly pains me. I am not somebody who just recently or just came to know of him. I have been listening to Nipsey Hussle since about 2015. So, I do like him. I was a fan. So being that that's the case, I heavily favor West Coast music. So, I definitely pay attention to West Coast artists, of course, as that is what Nipsey was. That being the case, there's a lot of different things that a lot of people have had to say about the situation. And some things bother me more than others. One thing in particular is the dude that he was going to do the documentary about, Dr. Sebi, as far as everything, as far as eating, lifestyle, things of that nature. I'm not saying that, I believe, because he was doing the documentary on Sebi that that's exactly why he was murdered. But I could see the potential of it, there being a reason behind it. A lot of people want to say, chalk it up as just, it's another senseless black on black hood gang type of situation. That's what a lot of people want, the energy that people want to put out there. And then they want to say, because you don't believe that it's just, black people killing each other, you're a conspiracy theorist. Well, you can't theorize with something if there's not a conspiracy or people conspiring for different things. If you look at COINTELPRO and various black movements of the past and organizations and individuals that projected positive imagery and uplifting for black people, there was always some entity that interjected or involved themselves or placed some mole or some pawn in there to bring everything down one way or another. So it's not a far-fetched thought, even if it is a conspiracy theory, which, hey, it could be a correct that it is a conspiracy. So with that being said, if you look at the things around Dr. Sebi, he suddenly died under mysterious circumstances some years ago. Lisa Left Eye Lopez, rest in peace, also died or, was in a car crash under mysterious circumstances as well. Why could I potentially see that, I'm not saying that it is because I don't have factual proof or evidence. So I'm not saying it certainly is that that's why he's dead. I don't personally know. I have my own beliefs and convictions. Everybody else is entitled to have their own thought, opinion, and conviction on the situation. what I do believe is that, okay, you think about bigger picture. This is an individual that has an ear, a platform, and he has a level of fame. People are going to listen. People are going to give attention. He may have, with that documentary being completed, ended up with a following. Large or small, it would have made an impact on Big Pharma. Whether for any people that may have believed him, that could have put a dent in Big Pharma's pocket. Well, it would have put a dent in Big Pharma's pocket. Big Pharma doesn't want that. Big Pharma are drug dealers. They're the legal drug dealers here in the United States. They don't want anything or anyone that could take away from their profits. So why would they? Why wouldn't they do that if they had the understanding that there's somebody that could release something that could get to the public that could have some information that's detrimental to their bottom line? I mean, there is certainly other corporate companies and entities that have ended people's lives in the past. Now, I'm not about to name names or none of that, but I mean, if you're smart enough, you can put two and two together. From the government and anybody with, I'm gonna leave it alone. Anyway, like I said, that's one reason that I could see. Now, a lot of people don't understand. Okay, the best way to do something is to get someone that, looks the part. Get a black man. Okay, why that black man? He's from the area. He knows apparently some of the movements of Nipsey. That makes all the sense in the world. Okay, it could be chalked up as another gang-related or black-on-black crime. A lot of people saying this man was just jealous of Nip and this, that, and the other. Now, I've heard the story where it was said that, oh, well, Nipsey dismissed him and sent him away and, said he was a snitch and he didn't want him around. Now, if that's the truth, you have to think about one thing. If he actually said that to this man, if this individual's a snitch, who is he snitching to? He has to snitch to someone else. You don't snitch to another nigga in the hood, or another man in the hood, or another individual in the hood. You snitch to police. You snitch to government officials. Those are the people you snitch to. So if this man was a snitch, then apparently he snitched for a reason. So that being the case, if he's known to be a snitch, then why wouldn't he do any work for them? When you snitch on behalf of saving your own skin and your own behind. CYA, you're covering your ass. So this being the case, okay, well, if he's a snitch and he's a known snitch, then that remains to be seen to know who he's snitching to, what he's snitching for, what he's snitching about, who he's snitching on. All those questions remain. But I can't confirm, but that's one thing that I heard that Nipsey said to him and dismissed him. If it's true or not, I don't know. I can't say. Another reason that I could see potentially, Nipsey being murdered or someone sending Eric Holder to murder him would be he provided economic empowerment for the hood. The buy back the block mentality, he was engaging that. There are so many people that say, I'm working on this project and I'm working on that project. Nipsey owned the strip mall, okay? He said at one point in time that one of the restaurants actually took the seats out so that, black folks in the area had to get their food and go. He bought that property, all of it, and the same people that did that pay rent to him. That's economic empowerment. That is something that's sorely lacking in the black community, period, all throughout the United States. It's not for the fact that black people don't want it. There are so many entities that look to stop that. Now, if black people were not, what's the word? If we were not hindered by the oppressive system, that, you know, it's invisible, it's subtle. People won't acknowledge it. But it is what it is. You know, supremacist system is integrated, and white supremacy and racism is American as apple pie, unfortunately. But that's reality. If it wasn't in play, if black people that were business minded were left unchecked and unregulated, then we could return to economic empowerment that has been had, that we've had in the past. Like, I believe Raleigh, North Carolina, there was a Black Wall Street, and we all know about Tulsa, Oklahoma, also had a Black Wall Street. And there are other areas of the country that had black empowerment, well, economic independence. I won't say empowerment, but economic independence, because of the fact that during the Reconstruction era, post-slavery, black people, all they had in the United States were themselves. So, you know, by it being segregation, it made it to the point that all we got is each other. So all we got is to build each other. So we work with each other, we shop with each other, we build each other. Okay? And there's no outsiders. That being the case, that made strong communities, which that doesn't benefit white supremacy. Think about the civil rights movement and the bus boycotts. How, okay, majority of black money is what went into the bus company there, I believe, in Alabama. And when they boycotted, they bankrupted the bus company. So, you know, they had to change everything in order to, you know, so money talks. Money talks, and a lot of people won't acknowledge or recognize that. I'm going to say the weirdest thing, but integration is probably one of the worst things that happen for the black community in a lot of ways. I'm not getting into that, but because of the fact it has made it where black people don't, well, some black people don't look to work with each other to build. And some black people don't want to look and work with each other to build. So, you know, it's like that on so many levels, but it's psychological, and, you know, it's economic. It's a lot of things that are involved and intertwined in that. But like I said, Nipsey was given opportunities to people that were felons, helping them to get jobs, or, you know what I'm saying, allowing them to work with and for him, so that, hey, they could eat, they could feed their families. So, you know what I'm saying, he was providing, okay, but you think about it. If he's giving to them and they're working and they're providing and they're making money, he's making money with them, they're making money with him. They're, you know, telling other people he's getting better workers, his business is getting better, as far as profiting. His name is getting recognized. People know what he's doing for the hood and community. That all, you know what I'm saying, that launches him further into the stratosphere on an economic level, but also on a social level. And that gives him a humanitarian look. All this, you know, goes together. And if you have that, eventually you have, you know, what could be considered a black leader. That, you know what I'm saying, and when you, you know what I'm saying, bring truth to life and you actually live and make the things that you speak about happen, then it's your action speaking. And you know what I'm saying, that's the strongest case. Couldn't have that. White supremacy, the government, and so many other entities, big pharma, I'm sure they wouldn't want that. Not for a black man. He had a positive nature, okay? I have seen so many people on social media, and I'm talking about regular, everyday people. I even saw a video that posts pictures with Nipsey. And you know, he looks all different ages. Adult, but all different ages. Hairstyles is different. Beard is different. Of course, clothing is different. But, you know, it's all at different times, at different places. So apparently he was a person that, you know what I'm saying, was easy to get along with, easy to talk to, get to know. He, you know, apparently took time out for people and, you know what I'm saying, gave of himself. I've heard so many people that say that they crossed his path. He had positive words, you know, thoughts, terms, you know, ways to build, business ideas, etc. So he was always moving in a forward motion, in an upward, you know. He was going vertical. So, you know, okay, if you got somebody that's an unstoppable force, it take a lot, you know. You can't just change a person's positive image that they created. So the thing about that is, you can't just assassinate a person's character that easily. You know what I'm saying? You know, they tried even with I believe J. Edgar Hoover, tried with Martin Luther King accepting the Nobel Prize. You know, there's, you know, a lot to say, but nobody took away King and his accomplishments. And, you know, of course, he's a human being. I'm sure he did things that, you know, whatever. He wasn't a perfect man, but at the same time, he wanted the best for the black community, at least from his perspective. And even, you know what I'm saying, no matter what, they weren't going to stop him by trying to assassinate his character. It was too strong. So they took his life. And I believe the same thing with, you know, was the case with Nipsey. Chris Darden, the lawyer for Eric Holder, or Shitty Cuz, he was the former prosecutor in the OJ trial. Now, how true this is, I don't know, as far as he's being paid. That's what I read. Not that he's working pro bono. He's definitely not a court-appointed attorney. I read that he's being paid. A lot of people said he's doing it just, you know, he's on the case just for clout because he's lost a lot of business since back in the day with OJ. I don't know how true any of that is. I know he's the attorney. That's all I can speak on for sure. But like I said, I've read that he's being paid. And, you know what I'm saying, even being that he's a back in the day was a big name, I'm sure that it's going to cost a pretty penny to pay him to be an attorney for anyone. So that being the case, who's paying this man? Okay, and, you know, if he is, quote-unquote, doing it pro bono, this is a pretty big case. So money got to come from somewhere. You know, attorneys don't work for free and they don't come cheap. The legal teams don't come cheap. So where's the money coming from? This individual, Eric Holder, didn't seem to be someone who had a great deal of money or anything of that nature. So it remains to be seen, known, and understood who is paying for the defense of Eric Holder? Why is Chris Darden working this case? These things all coupled together, you know what I'm saying, just don't make good sense. It does, you know what I'm saying? To just say that this was a random act by a jealous individual in the hood. It would seem that, okay, if it was a random act, a lot of people said, oh, well, he was jealous and he came back and did that, you know, and this, that, and the other. You know, people have their own way of saying how the situation happened. But my thing is to say that this man was just dissed and told to leave by Nipsey, and he felt jealous enough to just come back in broad daylight and shoot him down. It really doesn't. I mean, hell, I could even understand if this was an individual that was acting alone, why not just, you know, catch him under the fall of night or whatever, you know, shadow his moves and get him, you know, because right now the world has seen this man. He's in protective custody because, well, he's not going to survive if, you know, he's in general population in the jail. That's point blank. There are a lot of angry people. There are a lot of hurt people behind the murder of Nipsey Hussle. So that being the case, it seems very foolish to just openly shoot this man in broad daylight. So unless you felt like you were going to be protected, which he's in protective custody, and he has an attorney that's not court appointed, all this doesn't, you know, sit well. Not, you know, I think there's more to the story. That's my opinion. That's my thought. You know, a lot of people have said, oh, well, you'll say anything. You know, people will say anything just not to blame black people, and it's not even that. No. I mean, if it just seemed like it for me, then I would say it. You know, I don't have any problem with saying there are definitely some black males that, you know, are jealous and envious and spiteful with hearts filled with hate that will go shoot an individual for no given reason except for the fact that they hate them or whatever, or create a reason, or, you know. But for this, to kill a high-profile individual that you know, I believe anyone with good sense, I'm not sure if his mental facility, but you got to believe that, you know, to some degree he would think that there's going to be retaliation, or that there would be some consequences to his actions. So I can't say, you know, what's going to happen, but this doesn't sit well for me, just believing that this some jealous dude from the hood that just shot him and that's it. And he just chose to shoot this man on this day at this time in front of these people. Where's the other camera footage? There are multiple cameras that are trained on that area. I think there's only one. I don't know if one was a cell phone video. I'm not sure. But, you know, there was a camera that seems like it was so far away. But they showed there were closer cameras. Where's the footage of those cameras? I would like to know. You know, because I could see people and, you know, see what I think and I believe. But there's nothing that you can make a definitive, you know, and say, okay, well, and if they use that in court, the footage that has been shown on the news and things, it'll be difficult to say, okay, who that man is that shot him. Then, okay, then it becomes burden of proof and all that legal stuff. So things like this don't just randomly happen, and it's not just where, okay, excuse me, where, you know, something that's so blatantly done can't be put together, case closed. You know? But I say that there is more to this story. I don't know if it is. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Of course, if it was any big pharma, LAPD, government conspiracy, whatever, it's going to be a cover-up. Of course. So, you know, of course it will remain to be seen. There will be a lot more information that will have to be uncovered and dug up to figure that out. Now, it could very well be that that is correct, and Eric Holder's just a hater from the hood, and, you know, he was jealous, as people say. I don't believe it. Until there's some actual proof that comes out, I'm not going to buy into that. But for those that choose to, that's a personal choice. But I've said what I said. That's what I believe. And this is Willie Smith, just one man's opinion, signing off. You all have a great day.